it's me, Sean Capri, and welcome to episode 20. That's Venti? Is that a Venti? Episode Venti of Nerdflix and Chill. It's on WeTheNerdy.com, and it publishes on iTunes, supposedly, every Friday, and on Google Play as well. I'm joined by my really good friend, Thane Tingley. You're here. Hi, Thane.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I cut my finger today.
Why did you do that for?
It was pretty upsetting. Boredom, I guess. I don't know. It definitely did not happen at work.
Are you seeking attention? Are you cutting yourself again?
Yeah, but I'm too weak to go for the wrist, so I go for, I pulled a cuticle off.
Do you have to go for an AIDS test now?
Yes.
Do they skip? They just skip the blood test and just go straight to the Q-tip up the little guy?
Yeah, that's why I go every week.
This is why you shouldn't let boredom get the best of you, folks. This is why you subscribe to Nerdflix and Chill, so that it pops up on your iTunes feed every Friday. Sorry, guys, I have literally tried every single day this week to try and get episode 19. I was trying to get it up. It wasn't really working. I was trying all week. Getting in my old age here, I guess. Hopefully this is on iTunes as well. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you guys. Technology sucks. But it was on YouTube, so that's kind of sweet. If you're here on YouTube, thank you for watching and subscribing over on youtube.com/WeTheNerdy. Here's the deal. We're going to talk a little bit about movies today. We're going to talk about some trailers, which I just realized we didn't even discuss pre-recording, but whatever. We'll just wing this thing. We're going to talk about trailers. We're going to talk about a movie that we saw called The Light Between Oceans. And then that's gonna be a spoiler-free discussion for anybody who doesn't want this movie that had the entire basically the entire movie spoiled by the trailer. We'll keep it spoiler-free, and then we're gonna dive into all of the spoilers on Avatar. Thane's suggestion from last week's 6 Degrees of Chill, which is of course our weekly segment. Thanks for slamming that, by the way. That was really gentle. Your giant liter of water over there. Our 6 Degrees of Chill continues. It's a week-by-week chain of movies that connects to the previous week's movie by an actor, a director, or some guy playing the French horn who probably also worked on Howard the Duck. So thank you, Corey Giltner, for always pointing that out. And welcome back, Jennifer Belland. I know you're back. I think that I scared you away a little bit by my anger of watching 2 Days in New York a while back, but it's good to have you back. Good to have you back, Thane, 2 weeks in a row, my friend. How are you feeling?
Here. This has been the highlight of my entire life, which doesn't say much. I mean, yeah. Besides this cut that I've recently received,
you're really painting a picture for yourself here of just.
I just want people to really pity me. They're gonna start listening to your show more because they're gonna be like, "Wow."
Let's see when he finally ends it. People are going to realize that you have a will he, won't he relationship with yourself.
We're going to have to put up pools for this.
This is getting dark. Oh, Jesus. I would rather not win that pool. I would definitely rather lose. I want you with us for as long as possible.
Well, I'll give you till the end of this hour, sir.
All right. Well, and then it will live forever on the internet.
Absolutely.
Judge us for whatever. They probably didn't even watch the movies that we're going to talk about this week, so that's cool. But I like it when people do. I like it when people kind of message us and say, like, I watched that movie as well, and you guys were completely wrong. That's better than nothing.
Yeah, well, I don't know. The movie that I requested for this week was Avatar, and I figured people would be excited to watch such a gem. But I got nothing but hate. I've never really used my Twitter before, but now I have notifications, and they all say, fuck you, Thane. Fuck you and your stupid face. So I guess welcome to the internet.
Welcome to the internet, exactly. Okay, so why don't we get the show on the road, as they say. We're going to jump into some trailer talk, and in case you guys missed last week, what we're going to do here... Oh, also, if you missed last week, you notice that Thane is here, and not Gary Taru. Yeah, so Thane's here. Everybody say hi to Thane. Thane and I have known each other forever, and Gary is Europing harder than anybody's ever Europed before. I think I saw the Frenchiest picture on the internet of him walking down the street with a baguette and a French grin on his face. So we miss Gary very much, but happy to have Thane here while Thane is here and we do our little trailer talk segment. Because I'm lazy and this probably takes up enough of my time already. We're not going to do the Rotten Tomatoes scoring thing. And,
that's good. I'm bad at math anyway.
Well, I just... like, we'd have to have, like, a side pod, and anytime we play poker and there's a side bet, and I'm like, I'm so confused, I don't understand what's happening. I would have to get, like, macro equations on my Excel spreadsheet that powers this whole operation, and then I didn't even get the episode on iTunes last week. That just shows what happens. Well, Thane, I don't like change.
You know
I
what?
like you. I fear change, though. I get paralyzed.
I get it. Like, I listen to this podcast, and I know eventually I'm going to get to this episode, and I'm going to just stop. It's like subscription gone.
I don't recommend that at all, though. If you could somehow just, like, go to the grocery store and grab random people's, like, their iPhones, so long as they actually have a headphone jack in them when they can still listen to podcasts on them. If you could just go ahead and subscribe people to, like, I grabbed my parents' iPhones. I just subscribed to their phones too. Hey, Mom and Dad. Sorry about those age jokes before. Let's keep going with trailer talk. Who knows? This probably won't end up on iTunes anyways, so they don't even hear this stuff. Did you see? I'm going to just give you a quick rundown of the trailers that I saw. Hidden Figures,
absolutely.
La La Land, Rogue One, and Queen of Katwe.
Yes, same ones.
All right, I'm gonna throw it back to you because I'm gonna have a drink of my water while you talk for a little while. Why don't you kick us off with Hidden Figures?
Hidden Figures. This movie I'm actually take a personal interest in because I have a very keen interest in space and NASA and everything. One of my favorite things to do is read about space and be in it, like my current surrounding area.
I'm just not saving you here.
One of the ladies in this movie is famous for handwriting all of the code that went into the space shuttle missions. And that's what this movie's about, is about a bunch of... What the fuck?
What did I drink? This water's from last week. Good Lord. Oh, I think there's like algae growing in this thing. There might be actual life that just... I apologize. Continue with the NASA.
NASA, yeah. This movie, based on the trailer, is a group of incredibly smart mathematicians who can really do a lot for NASA, but there's a huge roadblock in the way that they're not only women, but they're black. And
just
people
like
didn't
space.
really take kindly to black women back then. And, story ensues.
Yeah, I didn't know if this was a true story or not.
Oh, absolutely.
It seems like it is. Looks awesome. Did I spot Kevin Costner in this movie?
Oh, for sure. You can't have black people without Kevin Costner.
I mean, just throw him into some sort of like tribe, a minority tribe, and then he just assimilates, and then he switches over. No, wait, that was Avatar. Nope, that was Dancing with Wolves. Just kidding. I can't wait to see this movie because I, just like you, we both subscribe to Star Talk Radio with our boy Neil deGrasse Tyson. And I didn't mention this to you because I wanted to tell you on the show. Chelsea and I will be going to Jasper to see Bill Nye the Science Guy. Do a little
and I'm going to be joining you.
No way, are you really?
No.
Oh, that would have been incredible.
That would have been incredible.
Just lie to me next time.
I'm going. Can we edit out the part when I admitted the truth? And can you also forget it?
Wait, now I'm so confused. Okay, so Hidden Figures looks great. I enjoy a good space movie. I feel like it's been a while since we got, kind of like a trio of Interstellar, Gravity, and The Martian. I guess it hasn't been really that long. But a nice little story for us to dive into. This comes out next year. It's a 2017 movie, so we'll be even more politically correct in time for that one. Okay, next one is Fa La 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 Land, which is a musical movie starring Emma Stone and Ryan. Your abs are made out of Photoshop. I can't remember the line. This pairs up Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling once again. Once again? Who am I thinking of in Crazy Sexy Love? It's not Ryan Gosling.
It is those two. Yeah, it's Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone. When she's like, you look like you're Photoshopped.
Yeah.
And then he does the Dirty Dancing move.
I still feel like that's not him. Anyways, they're in a musical together. They're singing, they're dancing. I don't know a heck of a lot more than that. This movie comes out in December. For me, this is a skip it unless there is absolutely nothing else. And Gary and I have to see this for the show. This is not normally my cup of tea. What did you think?
This is something that I will watch in the privacy of my own home because I will be too busy masturbating to do anything else.
To Ryan
The only
Gosling?
tricky part of this movie is going to be am I looking at Emma or am I looking at Ryan? Because who knows?
Crazy Sexy Love was that's the name of the movie, right? That was when Gary and I first realized that we can watch any type of movie together.
Yeah?
It was like basically a mandate. Actually, my first mandate was for a movie called I Love You Man, which is ironic because I saw it with a good friend, Terry. What's up, Terry Laraway? And I didn't know what the movie was about, and it was about mandates, and that's when we looked at each other and we realized that we were also on a mandate. It was really good times. The next movie is a little indie flick. You might not have heard this one. Star Wars, a Rogue One, a Star Wars story? Am I getting that right?
Yeah, no, I'm not going to start talking about this because, honestly, we don't have all night.
Why, like, good or bad?
I love Star Wars.
And this, too?
Anything that gets shat out of that world, I will watch again and again.
Gary and I talked about this really quick, so I won't go on too much more, but I actually think this was the first time... Did I see this? I must have seen this in the theater. Anyway, I am very excited. I can't believe it's coming up so quickly. I kind of like that they delayed the reveal of this movie so far into the year. Because it's like Christmas is around the corner. I don't know about you, but at my Costco, they've got Christmas trees and decorations up already. They don't even have Halloween stuff, but they're already celebrating Christmas. So I'm ready for some Star Wars. This looks huge. I can't wait to see it. I can't believe we're getting Star Wars movies every year for the next millennium. I think that's what they came out with, right?
Yeah, Star Wars is the reason that I wish I could never die. I want to be alive forever just so I can watch the yearly Star Wars movie.
It's terrible that you actually had to spend a good portion of your life already without any Star Wars movies. These giant decade-long gaps of nothing.
Yeah,
nothing
like
Star
364
Wars.
days a year are completely wasted.
Pretty much. If only you could turn back time. And if only you could play chess. Man, there was definitely a chess segue in there for Queen of Katwe, and I'm probably saying that wrong as well. This is a story of some kids, and just particularly one girl in Uganda, who picks up the game of chess, and I meant to look up the movie of the little boy who plays chess. I don't know if you remember this.
That was Searching for Bobby Fischer?
Bobby Fischer, yes! That commercial was on a VHS tape that we had back in the day when we recorded the Ren and Stimpy marathon on Much Music way back in the day, and that was so I always saw this trailer. It was on like every little commercial break for Ren and Stimpy. I saw that trailer all the time. Obviously not enough for me to remember the movie in this moment. A Disney movie, looks like a coming of age maybe, going against all obstacles. Again, not something I would rush out to the theater to see, but it looked good. It makes me want to like at least learn chess to the point where like maybe this is all I need to, if I were to have kids, like maybe this is all I would need to teach them.
Yeah, no, I'm actually kind of excited about it. The Searching for Bobby Fischer movie was really good. I looked into it this morning a bit, and it actually got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Damn.
Yeah, right? And you just don't get a lot of good chess movies, which is kind of a weird thing to say, but yeah.
Get all these boring space movies. Why don't they give us our chess movies back?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what? There's nothing more badass to say than checkmate. It's like a great like one-liner from Arnold. Like I'm sure he said that in something.
There's got to be something.
He should do it. He should do him and Sylvester Stallone should do a chess movie someday.
We need Van Damme in there for some broken French accent.
He's just
lines.
Like, judo chopping the chessboards in half the whole time, or just doing the splits on chairs for no good reason. He's all wrinkly with his slick back hair. Oh, I love me some Jean-Claude JC. I don't know. Acronyms kind of hurt my brain a little bit. Let's keep this thing moving, Thane. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So we saw a movie, and it was called The Light Between Oceans. This is our quick little review on The Light Between Oceans, starring Michael Fassbender, Alicia Vikander, Rachel Weisz, directed by Derek Cianfrance. I actually had to look up how to say his name. He says it's Cianfrance. I just saw this movie. I just saw it a moment ago, and I'm so glad that we had a moment to chat, and I was distracted by doing all the setup and getting our 6 degrees and chill in ready, because I had to, it was a little misty. This one is gut-wrenching. I will throw it to you. Tell me what this movie is about, because if anybody hasn't seen the trailer, the entire movie almost is in this thing.
Yeah, the premise is there's a young couple. They want to have children. They can't have children, but then suddenly they find one. And
as you do.
As, you know, yeah, when you're trying hard enough, one floats up on the beach. And they have this baby. They love this baby. And then the baby's mama shows up. And that's when everything takes its turns.
It takes a good long while to get to that point where things actually become interesting. Because they basically take what's in the trailer, and I don't know if it's a 2-minute trailer or whatnot. I would say 75 minutes into this movie, we're like, okay, now we're into new territory. Yeah. So a couple of the things that I noted about this was once things do get into new territory, it is, like I was on the edge of my seat. I'm like, oh, what's going to happen next? Beautifully acted, beautifully shot, beautifully scored. Every performance in this is completely believable. And the funny thing is, it's set just after World War I. I believe we start out in 1918. Michael Fassbender is an ex-soldier. He's looking just for some work at a lighthouse, and he sort of crossed paths with Alicia Vikander. And the reason that I bring up the time period is because I don't know if this flies anymore. Again, not really too spoilery, but they basically look at each other, and it is love at first sight. So they fall in love immediately, and you kind of get past that because of how old it is, but I don't know if that was a sticking point for you. Or like, I kind of breezed past it, but I know that might be kind of a weird thing for some people.
I think, yeah, I was thinking it was a bit odd how quickly everything kind of transpired.
Just like, move right along.
Here's your appetizer, and by the way, here's a ring. That's not what happens, but it did kind of move way too fast. But like you say, like, the timeliness of it all back then, it was like, hey, you're a girl, I'm a boy, let's do this.
We're lucky to be alive right now, so what the heck? Yeah, so what did you think about, like, the love story for me? Well, first of all, I would say that Alicia Vikander is striking in this movie. I mean, she gives one glance over, and people know her from Ex Machina, and they will know her in the new Tomb Raider movies. She's been cast as Lara Croft. And her and Michael Fassbender, I think, show really tremendous range in this movie. They show a lot of vulnerability, but then a lot of almost like psychotic kind of behavior between the two of them. There's kind of there's a lot of electricity. They obviously are attracted to each other, but then there's kind of things get real really quickly. Yeah, actually, probably not really quickly, but they definitely do get real. Did you like where this movie ended up, or like what are your overall thoughts on this thing?
I thought it was just sad. Like, the whole thing. The way I describe this movie is if you ever woke up from bed one day and you were just in way too good of a mood, you needed to be knocked down a couple pegs, just watch The Light Between Oceans.
You just know that that's what this movie is kind of. There's My Sister's Keeper is something that comes to mind where these movies, or there's a dog movie where Marley and Me, I think was at it. You just know these movies are just there to punch you in the gut and kind of like pull on your short and curlies. You just make you tear up, and you're kind of like, for me, I was fully aware of the intent, and I'm like, it still kind of got me. Like there's a real family. It's an extraordinary situation, but the overlying theme is that it's about family. Like, what would you do to protect your family, and what choices would you make when presented with extraordinary circumstances? And so I enjoyed that aspect of it. It kept my attention. Again, once I didn't know where things were going, I was in. But while I was still under the territory of this is trailer stuff, I was pretty bored. So I don't know how you go on.
There was a lot of scenes that definitely dragged out for me as well. Like, I think they painted a very good picture of the family aspect for sure. Like, it hooked you. You were totally in, but they did just drag. Like, I think they could have shaved 20 minutes of that movie out and still had the same effect.
Yeah, it was 15 minutes over 2 hours. So It wasn't exactly short. This thing could have been kind of a nice, concise little flick. But beautiful cinematography in this. nice shots of kind of the waves crashing on, like a lot of pattern work. And so that, again, beautifully shot. And I just think that there was a lot of love put into this. I don't think that this was a lazily made movie. And it's kind of a weird one to really rave about because I don't feel good having just watched it. Like it's not, it's hard to recommend to say like you said, if you're feeling way too great, then go for it. But this is definitely a fall movie. This isn't a summer hype type of film. It's very different from pretty much anything we've seen on this show. I don't know if this is your usual movie that you go to see on a week-to-week basis. Did you go with Jess?
Yeah, I did, yes.
Date night? Okay.
And she enjoyed it, of course, but she knew going into it. I thought it might be cute and lovey-dovey, so I was like, yeah. But no, she was like, you know this is going to be depressing, right? I was like, no.
Yeah, well, I didn't know to what depths of the darkness this thing was going. This was going to like disturbed levels of the darkness.
Yeah.
How did that sort of strike you as in terms of like how far it goes to really just gut punch you?
I have no idea what you're asking me, Sean.
So for me, like I was surprised that it seemed to just keep going. I'm like, okay, so things are pretty rough for these two. And then it's like, how can we make this worse? And this is kind of a thing I don't really like with TV right now is a lot of times it seems like with a lot of TV shows, the writers just go, how can we make things worse for the characters? And then we'll take it a step further than that. And then we'll leave things on a cliffhanger. And then next episode, they'll be even worse. And so this movie, it seemed the same where it's putting characters in terrible situations to trigger like an emotional response rather than like a good storytelling. Like that's a fine balance.
Get it,
you know?
It kind of reminds me of that thing that always pisses you off about the comedies that are incredibly awkward and it keeps getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
Except this isn't funny. It just keeps getting worse and worse and you keep getting sadder and sadder. It brings you to depths you didn't understand.
Yeah, so this is the thing. This movie definitely triggered a response in me. I was definitely like I got the lump in my throat. I was kind of like glad that the movie theater was empty. Nobody was in this thing with me. I went to see this by myself. So I got to see a nice sad movie all alone in an empty theater. If that paints a picture for you. The things I do for this show. So I'm trying to kind of articulate the fact that this movie was able to elicit a response, an emotional response in me, but was it almost too easy? And I think I'm coming up on that it wasn't too easy. I actually think that this was well made, and we were introduced to the characters in a way that we actually feel like we're right there with them, and they just go through so much, and you think, yeah, I would have done very similar things, even in such an extraordinary circumstance, even though I could hardly relate to the time period or the level of isolation that anybody is feeling here. I would think that I would probably do at least something that either one of these characters is doing. You're going to land in one of their camps. And so I think that because of all of those things, I actually come up on the positive side of this extremely depressing movie, if that makes any sense.
No, absolutely. Yeah, I thought it was a great movie. It was just very sad. It's a good story. It brings you back to those times. It really shows you what any small town in where the hell were they, like England or whatever, what any small town would be like at that time. Like all of the boys have been wiped out by war. It's just nobody's happy. Everybody's walking around all dismal, and they depict that very well. They just show you what life was like. Yeah.
So where do you come up on our little scale here? 5 stars.
I'd give it a solid 4, even though it was horribly sad. It was a very good movie. It was well put together.
This is probably one of the more challenging movies to even like really evaluate. The nice thing is that it's completely original, aside from the fact that it's based on a book, but it's not like a sequel, it's not part of a franchise, not part of some sort of extended universe, which is a lot of the movies that we saw this summer. So it was nice to get out and see kind of like an original story, something that I haven't seen this type of movie in quite a long time. Again, very hard to recommend, but from about as objective as we're going to get on this show. I think I'm there with you. I would say actually 3.5 out of 5 for me. So I'm almost there. Beautifully shot, beautifully acted, beautifully scored, but it's just hard to recommend. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with you there. I wouldn't tell anybody to be like, hey man, you gotta go see this movie right now. It's wonderful. No.
Hey, it's Friday night. Bring over some beers and we'll watch The Light Between Oceans. We'll just get drunk and cry together. It's like, after that, we'll watch a bunch of anime and we'll cry to that too.
Oh, I love anime.
Oh, we could talk about that later if you like. Let's start an anime show.
Done.
I don't know the first thing. You know what? I know about, like, Dragon Ball and Persona. And that's all.
I know about Naruto because I watched it yesterday. And Matt Fody likes Dragon Ball.
I know it because of neighbor Matt. All right. That's enough about that. Do you think? Are you good on The Light Between Oceans?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you summed it up very well. Well shot. The acting in it was perfect, really. I think they did an amazing job. All the characters at portraying the emotions of each part. It was good.
Yep, I want to bawl my eyes out just thinking about it. What a lovely movie. Okay, moving on to 6 Degrees of Chill for the week. This is, of course, our spoiler-filled discussion about a movie that connects to last week's 6 Degrees of Chill. I know it's complicated, but you guys get it. So this movie is Avatar. This was recommended to us by our new guest host, Thane Tingley.
Me!
What we do every week is I post something on the Facebook. You can follow me on the Twitter at Sean Capri. That's Sean like Connery, Capri like the pants. Or you can even follow Thane Tingley. I don't know what a clever thing is for yours, but it's just like it sounds. Thane Tingley.
Thane like the old European title for a king's buddy, and Tingley like the feeling you get when you're touching something soft, but it has an E in it.
Yeah, nice, just like that. I don't know why I didn't think of that. So you can reply to our little posts, and you can share or retweet for extra chances. We're going to throw your suggestions into the random number generator. We'll pick one at the end. So that's how all this stuff works. So last week, the random number generator selected a movie called Avatar. You guys may have heard of this. You probably, at least one of you has seen this 9 times in the theater because it's made an astronomical amount of money at the box office. I was furious when this movie popped up in the random number generator. So thank you, Thane.
No problem.
I actually had to. I didn't own this movie. It's not on Netflix. It wasn't really readily available. You guys need to look at the YouTube video at this moment. So Thane is playing with cats, and I think you should continue that. I was lucky enough that our local public library had a Blu-ray of Avatar, so I rented it that way. Nice free little rental from. They're not even going to trick me with their books. I know what they're doing, Thane. They're like, come in for our videos and our DVD selection, and look at all this literature. And I'm like, no, I want Avatar. So usually what Gary and I do for this section of the whole business is we kind of start out with our rating, and then we're going to dive in. We can do a beat by beat if you want, or we can just kind of pick our favorite parts, whatever, Thane. We'll just take it one step at a time. We'll take it slow.
You can just
whatever you want to do.
With the punches here. I wrote notes for days because this movie's so wonderful.
I'm so glad that you like it, because I need somebody to tell me why this movie did so incredibly well at the theater. Before we get into our thoughts, I will go through some of the basic information of this movie. So, came out in 2009, directed by James Cameron, starring Sam Worthington, Zoe Saldana, Sigourney Weaver, Michelle Rodriguez, Don't Breathe, Stephen Lang, and Giovanni Ribisi. It made $2.78 billion worldwide. That doesn't even compute for me. I don't understand. It was made on a $237 million budget. It actually won the Oscar in 2010 for Best Achievement in Cinematography and Art Direction. It was nominated for Best Picture, and I need to look up what else. maybe while you're telling me and I'm not listening about how great this movie is, I'll look up what else was nominated for Best Picture, because that doesn't make any sense. Best Director, Editing, Original Score by James Horner, and Sound Mixing and Sound Editing. So a lot of accolades thrown at this movie. I feel like I have to be in the minority here. I'll throw out my star rating. I'll throw it over to you, and you can tell me why I'm wrong. This movie is awful. It is completely unoriginal. It's uninspired. I think the special effects are completely overrated. I don't want any more of these movies. You guys definitely need to check out the YouTube video, because there is now a pussycat on Thane's ear. This movie is terrible. I give it a 1 out of 5 stars. This is absolutely awful. I can't understand, but you need to convince me otherwise. Go.
Well, based on your rating, I'm pretty sure you grabbed a disc of the Avatar TV show, but a bad one, because you couldn't see the same Avatar I
Yeah,
did.
we didn't watch the same thing.
I think this movie's wonderful. James Cameron made this world. It was beautiful. All the plant life he came up with, the animal life, the weird alien cat people that shouldn't be on that planet.
I'm sitting back. You need to work at this, convincing me that I've missed something like that changes why this is good. Why is this movie one of the top grossing? The fact that this movie's made as much money as it has makes me doubt all of humanity. What are we doing with our selections? Not only are we seeing, like, to make that kind of money, everybody needs to see it multiple times, where there has to be a huge portion of people who like it that not only just like it and convince their stupid friends to go see it as well, but they all go see it 3 times in a day, and they all buy a movie ticket for every show. They don't just like sneak into the next one. They voluntarily pay more money.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. So
well, I don't know if you're aware of the whole sickness that happened because of this movie. You hit the nail on the head for the profits. People were seeing this multiple times over and over again in the theaters. It got to the point where people were ending their lives so that they could wake up in this magical world that James Cameron created.
come on, is that for real?
Dead serious. There was online web psychiatrist groups that people could go to talk about it, because people were so touched by this planet that they didn't think that humankind deserved to be around anymore. This complete ripoff of human history in America really opened people's eyes to something that the books couldn't for some reason. And that's why it made so much, is because people saw it like 40 times.
Was this the original Inception? Is this real world Inception? And people thought that, like, there's a train, you don't know where it'll take them. But I didn't remember where the rest of that goes.
I thought you were going to keep going. I was impressed.
Man. I blank out sometimes.
I don't know how much of what I'm saying is factual and how much I just made up off the cuff.
Now that you mentioned it, I am starting to remember the craziness around this movie.
Yeah, no, a lot of people went nuts about it because, they just, I don't know, I guess a huge feeling of empathy passed through them because of what Stephen Lang did to the cat people. But
that was it. Okay, so Sam Worthington is our hero in this movie. We join him in the very beginning. He's approached similarly to the last movie, actually, with Terminator Salvation, where he's approached with a contract and basically has to give himself to science. He in the future, humans are able to travel to far off lands to mine a resource or an element or a mineral or some sort of metal called unobtainium. It's called unobtainium because it's hard to get. So
that's on the periodic table. Just saying.
Sam Worthington is the brother of he's a meathead, and he's a brother of a brilliant PhD who studied the ways of the Na'vi, who are the native people on Pandora. He knows their culture, he knows everything about them, but he is tragically killed and then burned in a cardboard box. And so his twin brother is left to take over because his genome will match the avatar that they've grown for him. Very convenient, but that's fine. The part that really gets me right off the start here is that they can do all of these things. They can build a being out of DNA from the Na'vi and out of the humans. They can build it in this giant aquarium. They can connect a human to it using weird I don't even know, probably some sort of proprietary Apple technology so that they can control them like some weird virtual reality system. But he's still paralyzed. They can't fix his spine, but they do say, they go out of their way to say they can fix your spine, but it costs a lot, or it's you can't do it on a soldier's pension or something like that.
Yeah.
What? How is that what's unobtainable?
They explain it in the movie. I don't understand how you're shocked by this. He couldn't afford it. He couldn't afford it.
Okay. All right. At some point, Gary has a really great saying for this. I can't remember what it is. Something about eating shit. God, I was really coming into this movie with an open mind because I'm like, I haven't seen this in quite a while. I remember really disliking it in the theater. I've disliked it every time I've seen it since, but I'm like, you know what? Thane seems to think this is really great, and a lot of people saw this, $2.7 billion. Maybe I'm completely wrong. So I will just go in with a completely open mind. I try not to be totally biased when I see a movie on 6 Degrees of Chill. So first couple of minutes come in, maybe 20 minutes in, I'm like, you know what? This movie actually does look really great. Like the shots of humans. I'm gonna step off of the shit train for a second. I'm gonna give it a little bit of praise. Oh. This movie does look really great. Except when we start to get into the Na'vi, I think they look awful. Don't get me wrong, this is not a lot of praise. But overall, I think that I don't know if I've seen a movie that looks sharper, more vibrant on my TV than I have this movie. And it's when we get a fully CGI created character running around that things kind of fall apart for me. It actually reminds me of the old TV show Reboot. And you just can't get walking down. And for me, CGI, the thing is, like, none of these beings really look like they're taking up space. They don't look like they have mass. I don't feel like they're impacting the ground when they touch it. There's sound effects that want to make me think that that's true, but I know that I'm looking at a computer-generated image, and I can't decide whether or not that's the intent. Well, no, I don't know if you get hung up on this.
What you're missing is, first of all, this wasn't CG. They actually made cat people.
Oh,
secondly,
right. Okay.
They're very light, so the impact that you're looking for doesn't happen because the Na'vi only weigh 10 pounds.
Oh, okay, so they're just full of muscle, 10 pounds of muscle, very lean beings here.
Yes, they're aliens, so, you know.
So part of it, too, is I play a lot of video games, and I'm like, if this was a video game, if this game was a game, I would really enjoy myself because I think that it would look really great. But in fact, it's a movie made by James Cameron, one of my favorite directors, basically up until this point. But so it's not a video game, it's a movie. So somehow it's kind of held to a different standard. And ultimately I was very torn on my kind of judging the visuals on this movie. Like I said, the world that he did create, when I step off my hate train, is spectacular. Like, some of these shots are incredible. And I remember when I first saw the movie, a lot of it is them going, like, when they go into the flux. What the heck is this thing called? I wrote it down. The flux something, where the floating mountains. And they like take a moment and everybody's looking out the window and it's that Jurassic Park moment of wow. And they have a lot of those moments in this movie where everybody's yelling, "Hey everyone, look how good I look. Come look how good I look." And it's like, it's jarring. Like, they take almost too many of those. It's very self-aware of the technology that they use to make this movie. Very similar to, in my mind, George Lucas saying, "Look what I figured out how to do. I can put a computer-generated Jabba the Hutt, and Han can walk all around him and such." Like, they spent so much time figuring out if they could. They didn't think about if they should. You know what I mean?
I think they should have. James Cameron reinvented the way that films were made. Think about it. Before that movie came out, what movies really had that magical of a world whipped up? Or the 3D technology that he basically created to make that movie even better. Everybody's using it now. But before that, you know, what do we have? Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare with the stupid glasses on? That was it.
I won't argue the technology had definitely changed the game. And I give him absolutely full credit for having the wherewithal to come up with the idea for the movie, which actually isn't that great, but more so to say, I'm not going to make this movie until I can create the technology. Like, this dude, James Cameron, is a badass. There's no doubt about it. But that doesn't make this a good movie. And I feel like people got so caught up in the technology that they forgot that you should probably expect a good movie as well. That's me, though. I'm taking up all the time and shooting on this movie, and I feel like I'm still not convinced that it's good.
That's okay. I get it. Some people have terrible opinions about things.
All right, okay, so we're going to go there. So it takes us only about 15, 20 minutes before we actually jump into the Avatar suit or whatever we call this. Jake goes immediately, he realizes that the Avatar is not paralyzed. And so for the first time in I don't know how long, he's able to play a quick game of basketball. He can run around even though everybody's trying to control him. And oh my goodness, what a terrible idea it was to put this meathead in this Avatar. Of course this is not working out well for us. So ridiculous situations ensue. We get to meet Michelle Rodriguez, who is a badass pilot. She's playing a caricature of herself in this movie. Again, I don't like her in this movie either. I think as soon as she showed up on screen, I was reminded that this movie is a whole collection of two-dimensional characters, just caricatures, all interacting. Like this is, if I was playing right now in front of me, I have a Hulk Smasher Disney Infinity character. And Gary and I talk about this all the time too. This is if I was 12 years old and I was like, I'm going to make up a movie with my Tonka trucks who are mining unobtainium in my sandbox, and I've got a whole bunch of little cowboys and Indians. This is the movie that I would make, and you just throw a $300 million budget at it, and somehow that turns into a $3 billion movie.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yes. I agree with you about Michelle Rodriguez, though. I think she's like the shit you scrape off your boot. I don't get why she keeps getting jobs.
She's badass, and she's tough, and she wears a tank top.
Ugh. The best part of this movie is when her plane explodes.
Oh, snap. We're going to skip right to there. Yeah,
not at all.
She gets it good.
Fuck her.
Yep, she gets. I like the mechs. So they all jump into like these kind of loaders. But I remember again thinking back to Aliens and about how unoriginal this movie is. I'm like, I already saw a great movie with Sigourney Weaver in it and these mechanical, these giant robots.
Yeah.
So like, oh man, I just wish that there was a little more here. I'm just gonna keep pushing forward to this stupid movie. I felt going back to video games. I was about an hour into this thing, and I felt like this was actually a bad translation. You know how there's never a good video game movie? Like Mortal Kombat's about as good as we're gonna get. Warcraft was terrible. Street Fighter's awful. There's so many bad examples of video game movies. I feel like this is just the movie for a video game that doesn't exist. It's just, there's nothing here. There's no, and I know that there's an environmental thing here. It's so heavy-handed. It's just like, I feel like this I feel like this movie is even out of date now. I think maybe it's because, I don't know, are we as concerned with the environment today as we were in 2009? It seemed like this thing kind of comes and goes and flows. We're more concerned about...
Right now, today, we are a little bit because of all those people picketing that oil thing and the fact that the North Saskatchewan's a flowing river of oil. But, 2 weeks ago, nah.
Yeah, so I don't know. It seemed like, I don't know, maybe we're on a better path. Okay, so where do we keep going from here? Cool animal. So I kind of did like the animal design in a lot of them, but you can always tell that they're CGI. So that the cat people you talked about, after Sam Worthington or Jake in the movie, he has his fun. He goes, runs off. He's referred to as a savage by Stephen Lang, which is so racist, and I can't believe how racist this movie is. I can't believe it took me this long to talk about the racism in this movie. Totally, I cannot believe how it is so... We talk about this movie being... South Park really did first. Dances with Wolves and the Smurfs, Dances with Smurfs. And it's just... They call them natives. They call them savages. They're running around with bow and arrows. They've got these Pandora horses that run. Like, it's just, there is no real translation. It's just like a copy and paste of what happened here in North America. You throw some CGI on it and put it in a place called Pandora. And again, this is not a clever name for this planet. You open Pandora's box. Like this, it's so... none of this is clever to me.
Pretty sure Pandora's a moon, so that's pretty clever. Science-y.
Okay.
No,
So
I agree with you, unfortunately, as much as I do love
it's
this
undeniable.
movie. It is a complete ripoff of history. It is. They just take out Indians, put in cats, and you got this movie. It even has, like, grunty, angry white guys. Even when Jake gets off the plane for the first time on Pandora, it really shows their true character, because they're like, oh, Meals on Wheels. Look at this fucking cripple.
You're like we
shit.
haven't moved forward at all. Like, we just even somehow regressed in our political correctness.
Yeah.
Here we are in 2016. There's nobody would say that even now, and this is sometime in the future then, so I don't know if we somehow regress. But basically, the movie, the plot kind of exists as a weak standing point for these cliche chase scenes, these cliche action scenes, a lot of stuff that we've seen before. We even have, right off the beginning, Jake is running away, and he falls over a waterfall. How many times have we seen characters dive? Like, we've seen it since Harrison Ford.
73.
73 times? Okay,
yeah.
So this is the 73rd too many times that we've seen this. A lot of cliche stuff. But he is saved as night falls on him, and he realizes how dangerous Pandora is. All the night creatures come out and start to attack him. There's Pandora dogs that are after him, but he is luckily saved by Pandora Lara Croft with a bow and arrow. And this is just such a confusing scene as well, because she saves him. She shoots a couple of these animals, these vicious predators who are no doubt going to kill him at a moment's notice, kills them viciously. Then she makes him feel bad for killing them. Then he says, oh, well, why did you save me then if you just wanted them to live? And she goes, well, you're dumb like a baby. And then she says, come with me.
Around. She saved him because of the octopus pollen touching her. She was going to kill him with her little arrow, and then the little lands on her arrow. It's a sign from her god.
Which I didn't mind. I didn't really mind the whole deity thing, the whole planet being kind of connected. There was a little sciencey stuff in there too, where they actually saw everything connected in like an electronical kind of digital kind of way.
Biochemically whatever.
That was fairly neat for me. Oh, the flux vortex is the floating mountains that I was talking about. Again, basically, whenever there's no blue people on the screen, I thought it looked incredible. But as soon as we see these blue people, it is incredible technology, the way that they're able to kind of translate their emotions from their face to the computer-generated image. I think I actually did look pretty good. It's about as good as you're going to get at that point. But still, it's not quite there. To me, overrated. But I can't say that anymore. Basically, any of the animation, running, jumping, swimming, just always looked off. There's clearly like a translation of like some sort of motion capture that got moved onto the screen. And I guess that's, for me, why it felt more like a video game, because that's how games are made. Is a whole lot of motion capture, people like wearing the suits with the balls, like the ping pong balls kind of attached,
like the Gollum dude, this guy.
So we'll move along to where they pick their Pandora pterodactyl. Is this a moving part for you? This
part is where I kind of take a dive. Now, from what I understand with these people, they use their little ponytails and they can tap into stuff, but the scene when Jake and Zoe they hook up, they touch their ponytails together, which makes me think that's how they sex. So when they go get these pterodactyl bird things, they basically tie them down and rape them into submission and then own them. So it's like you beat them, you tie them down, you rape them, Stockholm Syndrome forever, you own this pterodactyl now. That part really fucked with me when I tied it together that their ponytails are also their sex organs.
Do you think that they excrete out of them too?
I have no idea.
Do they pee out of that thing?
I hope not, because that's weird. They gotta have sexy organs. But I tried looking real hard through the scenes when they're running around and stuff, and you don't get any peeks under the loincloths.
You almost do, and everybody's looking. You're like, oh, that was close. We almost saw a little something there.
Yeah, no, that scene really that fucked with me. I'm still a little off put by it.
Because you don't know if you should have been turned on by all that or not. That's why you're doing a little soul searching here.
no, that's too dark.
So a bunch of the movie, but at this point, I'm realizing that a lot of this is like the world's most drawn out montage, where he's sort of learning the ways. And I guess that, like, what else you gonna do at this point? He's being assimilated into the Na'vi. He's overcome their original objections. They very quickly decide to teach him the ways, and even though they're fully aware, by the way, that he is not who he says he is. They realize that he's from the sky, that he's an avatar.
Yeah.
And but they breeze over that. That's fine. Whatever. I have a huge problem with that. So he gets to learn how to fly his pterodactyl. He gets to learn how to Tarzan through the jungle and jump down trees and kind of just swing along and jump from a high up place down to the ground using huge leaves. And this is where I realize, oh yeah, I forgot that I'm watching Ferngully as well, because the humans come in and start to burn down the rainforest, or whatever we're calling it. And I mean, at least the fire looks good. That's what I do have to say, that like, when you see good fire, I kind of get excited when I see a good explosion in a movie.
Yeah, no, I agree with that for sure.
Okay, so it's at this point that Jake commandeers. I'm just gonna keep moving, because I actually skipped a lot of my note taking because I just am in disbelief that I spent 3 hours watching this movie. There's this big giant red pterodactyl in the land that is apparently nobody can control this thing. It's the untamable horse, but he manages to figure out a way to just like really try hard and think about it, and he wanted it bad enough. So he gets this big badass red pterodactyl, and he flies around with it, and this is where he starts to turn against the humans, right?
Yeah, no,
being attacked by cat people. This is the thing. He knows that we're talking bad about the Avatar people.
He wants the headphones. Well, you skipped a bit of a step there with the whole tree being exploded and burned down.
Oh, yeah.
You briefly mentioned fire.
Yeah.
But that's when he really starts to turn against them, is when they don't give him another chance to... I got fur-bombed. They don't give him another chance to save them. He gets back into the world, and all of a sudden the bulldozers are there. So he smashes up the lights and everything, and they tie him up to the tree, the Na'vi. They don't like him anymore because of his treacherous ways.
Nobody likes him at this point. He goes back to the humans. They're like, you screwed us. You're out of here. You're not getting your legs.
Yeah.
He goes back to the Na'vi, and they're like, nope, we don't like you either. So we're going to tie you up.
By your stupid bulldozer. And then, the humans take down the home tree, blow it all up, bunch of people die, everybody's mad at Jake, and that's when he goes to hunt down the big red bird, because he needs to become the man of legend. I had it written down what it was called. Here we go. Turok Mach 2, or Tau, or whatever. And that's how he figures he's going to win the respect back, is by getting the big red bird.
Yep. I mean, it's a cool looking bird. I'll definitely give it that. This is an hour to go, by the way, at this point. We've now been watching this movie for 2 hours, and we're gearing up for the so predictable assault. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't believe we still have this much more to go. It is completely drawn out. I remember the first time that I watched this movie, I was like, can we just skip to the end? Can we just skip over this part? Because I'm just ready for everything to be done. So... oh my God! What else can we even say about this stupid movie? So the red thing takes over. He saves the day. Michelle Rodriguez gets blown up because she decided to help them, but she's not really that capable of making a difference. So Stephen Lang, in his one-dimensional, his character is awful, but he decides that Michelle Rodriguez got to go. He has a great one-liner and says, "You're fired" or something, and he blows her up.
That was
take me to the end. This movie is awful. What else we got? What else am I missing? I'm shitting on this too much.
No, it can be shit on. I get it. No, you pretty much said it. The humans are coming to destroy where their god, I guess, is supposed to be, in that little rib cage looking thing with the tree. That's where the heart of their deity is, and the humans are going to bomb the shit out of that. And that's when Turok Tau or whatever gets all of the different Avatar clans together and gets them all to get to the same place, and they all attack the humans and take them on. And obviously, to make for a happy ending, they win.
Yep.
And then,
so he almost dies in the end too, because Jake has a awesome Avatar versus mech battle.
Yeah.
And the mech is armed with what is he armed with?
A giant knife.
Yes.
Because that makes sense.
Being a mech wasn't enough. You needed a huge, like, what do you even call that knife? It wasn't even just, it was like a hunter's knife.
Yeah, it was like a Rambo
But for a
knife.
mech, like, what does he have that for?
For stabbing the blue cat people. Because, the giant gun with a knife on the end of it, sometimes a gun can jam. You need to have a giant-ass knife for your robot.
Yeah. So you have the cliche giant assault. Everybody is dying. There's a lot of sadness and sorrow while the humans are clearly going to be winning this battle. Then things kind of take a turn. You've got basically what is a boss battle at the end where you have these two kind of going at it. Somehow, oh man, I don't even know her name. Zoe's character, what the heck is her name? It doesn't matter. She shoots Stephen Lang in the chest with some giant freaking arrows.
Huge.
One more thing about this whole battle. If people had a problem with the Ewoks in Return of the Jedi, this whole movie is the Ewoks versus the Stormtroopers with their rocks and their arrows against the chicken walkers. Absolutely redonkulous. I hate this movie. I hate that I spent 3 hours of my life watching this. There's nothing redeemable. Sorry, it looked good at times. But after the boss battle... Sigourney Weaver dies at some point in this movie. They set up a sequel, and we're about to get 4 more of these. I don't care at all. Take us home. Final thoughts on this stupid movie.
Well, I had one thought, and this kind of occurred to me. I never really caught this before watching it, but I was looking at it from like a scientific aspect, and it just didn't make sense to me that the Na'vi had 4 limbs. I was looking at every animal in this world that James Cameron whipped up, and everything has 6 limbs. All the dogs and horses and cats had 4 front legs, 2 back legs. The birds had 4 wings and 2 feet. But all the Na'vi have, 4 limbs. And you look at Earth here, and everything has 4 limbs. All the major players. I'm thinking that the Na'vi are aliens, and that big mother planet thing is a spaceship, and we're going to learn that in the next 4 movies.
I actually seem to remember him saying that he gave like the Na'vi more of a human-like form so that people could be attracted to them. Like he actually commented on they have like a female, like especially the females have like the form that they have so that guys could be attracted to them.
They pretty.
So there's no mystery there. They got those weird curves and long legs and whatever, the loincloths.
I might have dug too deep into that.
Well, who knows? They'll probably come up with some crap because apparently they can't fix this dude's spine, but they've inserted him into another test tube baby. This movie is awful. What? Okay, so I said 1 out of 5 stars. I didn't get what's your rating on this movie?
I give it 3.5. Although I really like it, it has a few things against it. They rape a bird. Michelle Rodriguez is in it, and I don't understand the 4-limbed people. It really bothered me as soon as I clicked that together.
Let's see if I can come up with 4 major detractors to take away all 4 stars to leave me with 1. Okay, so the overrated CGI, the rampant racism, the rape, the complete knockoff of Dances with Wolves and Pocahontas and Smurf. That'll work. So that's 4. Been good enough reasons for me to think that this is no good. I used to love me some James Cameron with Terminator and Aliens and True Lies.
And Dark Angel.
Oh, man. Talk about a fall from grace, but apparently just into... tremendous riches. What are we going to see next week, Mr. Thane?
I believe we're going to see the movie about a plane that lands itself, but a guy gets credit for it because
planes fly themselves into a river.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know why I skipped to that. Gary needs to keep us on track, and I blame him 100%. That ends our talk on Avatar, but we have to decide on a new movie for next week's 6 Degrees 6 of Chill. And remember, this is up to you, people, to give us movies to select. We throw them into the random number generator. We've already done that. I probably won't be inserting a sound effect here, but imagine the wheel on Wheel of Fortune. Why does the Wheel of Fortune wheel have bronchitis? Ain't nobody got time for that. Okay, so thank you guys so much. We're all back. We had last week was a little late, but everybody came back this week. So thank you again for listening. Thank you for replying with all of your selections for what we're going to watch for next week. Remember, it all connects some way by actor or director or a dude who plays French horn. So what we do is we take all these things, we put them in a random number generator. We've got selections from Blair Hamilton, some great selections from Blair, who had his movies were put in twice, actually, because he shared. And you guys can do the same thing. You can share it on Facebook or retweet on Twitter for more chances at winning. Couple others here. Andrew Semichek, Guardians of the Galaxy. So who the heck is the connection there? I don't know. Matt Fody, Furious 7, and Machete. Corey Hicks with Donnie Darko. Gary, our old host who died. Gary Theroux. Giovanni Ribisi, we didn't even talk about his character and how ridiculous he is. Boiler Room, Blair again with Stephen Lang is the connection to Tombstone. That's a great movie. Corey Giltner, Howard the Duck. Sean Fedunik with Galaxy Quest. Sigourney Weaver, Never Give Up, Never Surrender. Matt Fody reminds us that there's a connection to Resident Evil. Corey Hicks again. Nope, I said that one already because he shared. He was in there twice. Chris Berto with Titanic. Jennifer Bellin, thank you. You're back with Face Off, Wall-E, and Inception. A perfect batch of movies. Unfortunately, none of those were selected. Corey Hicks again. The Mighty Ducks. Just a wonderful selection. And Thane, I'm really happy to tell you that the random number generator did select a Blair Hamilton movie.
Oh.
And the Blair Hamilton selection was the Shut Up Thane Master. That is legit. He also suggested Shut Up Thane's Revenge, Shut Up Thane Warriors. So, Shut Up Thane. Unfortunately, we can't. That movie doesn't exist, so we're going to have to go to the next one down. This is, I can't believe it, another one of your movies.
Me?
This is your movie. You selected Face Off. Yes. With a connection to CCH Pounder.
Yes. That girl has got the greatest name of any human being in the world.
I was like, there wasn't a wrestler in this movie.
You never heard of Kutcha Pounder?
Yeah, like it sounds like a 1989 WWF wrestler.
You know, Jen also suggested this movie, so she gets 75%
I know, I threw you off
credit.
there. I threw you off a little bit. I was like, oh, Jen's movie didn't get picked, but it did, in a way, sort of. So Face Off had a really good chance of connect. I don't know if she is it the same? Is there anything else that connects these two movies? Did she pick up on this connection as well? I don't know.
I think Giovanni Ribisi's in this movie? No, he's not. That's that other dude. I don't know.
Oh, you're thinking of the brother?
Yeah, I was thinking of the brother.
The Weasley brother? Yeah, for sure. I'm a big fan of Face Off. And
yes.
This whole thing started with Con Air, as you may remember. Anybody who's been with us since the beginning. 6 Degrees of Con Air was the original name of this, but nobody understood what the hell that means. I don't even know if I know what 6 Degrees of Chill means. But we're sticking with it. We're not changing the name again. It all started with Con Air. Face Off comes around the same time of glorious movies from Nicolas Cage, John Travolta, John Woo, whole lot of Johns, and a whole lot of doves happening around this time in the 90s. So, very excited. Gotta love me some. Oh, and there's a character named Sean in this, I think, too, right? I think there's a Sean character in this movie.
The main guy is.
So, the random number generator has done its job. We're going to see a brand new movie in the theaters next week as well that we'll talk about, starring Tom Hanks being a captain once again. Things go bad for him. Somebody looks at him in the face and tells him that they're the captain now, I think. That's what's this movie. Now. I'm excited to see Sully. I even have a little, oh no, he's over there. My little Sully plushie from Toy Story. He's within eye reach. That's all I got.
I don't know if I believe it.
I'm not going to show you.
All right.
That's kind of the end of the show, Thane. What else do you want to say?
Got to sign out properly, so shut up, Matt.
Shut up, Matt. We're not quite there. Gotta tell people to remember to check out WeTheNerdy.com every day. That's the reason we're all here. So if you guys bookmark that site, just go check it out. A lot of I talked about a game called Day of Sex Mankind Divided. There was a dude on the site who did the review for the PC. I added my comments about what it's like on the consoles at the ass end of that, so go check that out. I also did, if you video game nerds are looking for Nintendo's new console, I talked about why Nintendo should not reveal what the NX is until next year. Super controversial, so just go leave an angry comment there. I got a lot of people. There was one site where I posted this article and people were like, "You're just dumb." And I'm like, "Yeah, thanks. That's pretty." I knew you were gonna say that, so thank you for that.
That's a great argument. You're dumb.
You're just stupid. You're just dumb.
It's a stupid idea.
Mom, this guy wrote something stupid on the internet.
I'm blogging about this later.
You can find that on WeTheNerdy.com. I also do another show called We the Gamercast. I talk to strangers on the internet about video games. We have Sweet Hangs. That is on iTunes and Google Play. I was going to say Stitcher. We're not a Stitcher, people. Every Monday. What else? That's about it. You can find this show, again, on YouTube.com/WeTheNerdy. iTunes and Google Play every Friday. Thank you guys for subscribing. Please give us a rating. I actually haven't checked to see if we have any ratings, but if you guys could go ahead and go onto your iTunes little app there, leave a review 5 stars with a little blurb about why we're great. We have. Do you have them in front of you? Is this going to be a process? Is this going to? Okay, so I'll try and fill some space about why this is important. When you leave a review, here's the thing about podcasts. Did you know that more and more podcasts are being published to iTunes each and every day? But sadly, more podcasts are not being reviewed. And this leaves podcasters like Thane and Gary and I hungry and starving. It basically means that we'll live our lives with flies and mosquitoes crawling around on our eyeballs.
I got it.
We're looking all sad. And all it takes for you to fix this is just one quick. You may be on the toilet right now. You may be on the bus. Maybe you're flying. And if you're flying in an airplane, then you can't do that. You cannot connect to the internet because your plane will crash in the Hudson River. So wait until you come back down to give us a review. That's okay. It's not that urgent. You may be driving. Just pull over. Do it legally. We want everybody to be safe. But if you could just please give us a rating on iTunes, that would help us out greatly. The name is already great. We just need you guys to give us a little rating. Thane, what do we got over there, bud?
You got 2 ratings. One of them's from a CL Thom. He gives you 5 stars, says it's a great show, and then says a bunch of other stuff that I'm not going to read because it's a long one. Okay, I'll read it.
That's not my dad, so that's okay.
I really enjoy the premise of this movie review show. It's really nice that they watch something new and something old. It helps me dust off some old movies and helps me to decide whether to watch the new movies that are in the theaters. These guys get it, and I want to be on this show.
Whoa!
That was written by Sean Capri's mom.
Yeah! These guys get it.
And your second review here, that was a 5-star.
Cool.
Your second one is another 5-star. The opening line is, "Shut up, Matt." This is from Thane Tingley.
No way.
The review says, "Shut up, Matt." This was posted on August the 2nd.
Thank you, Thane.
Yes.
So the funny thing is that we can only see the Canadian review. So if any of you Americans are out there and you guys have reviewed it, send me a screenshot. We'll read out. We'll give you a shout out at the end of the show. Gary's going to come back and the show is going to be totally different, by the way. We're just adding in segments and whatever. But that is all. Thank you, Thane. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Do you have anything to close this out now?
Nah. I was trying to come up with something. Wait. Have a beautiful day.
Oh, that's a really good one. I hope you get that AIDS shot that you need to take care of that cutting that you did at the beginning. Love you!